Hello, today's video is going to be about how to change the thermal grease on your computer. The first step is going to be opening the computer case. Always be sure to work on a non-static surface or wear a static grounding bracelet. The second step is going to be removing the heatsink. First, you're going to want to be sure to remove the fan connector from the motherboard, and then be sure to loosen the screws in an alternating fashion. The thermal grease that I will be using in this video is made by Shin-Etsu Microsci. It is the X23-7783D thermal grease, and there will be an Amazon link in the description where you can purchase anywhere from 2 to 10 syringes. Typically, thermal grease has a very long shelf life, but always check the expiration date on the back before using it. The thermal grease that I'm using today is very inexpensive because it's direct from the retailer. It is also a product that is packaged in the USA. Once you've removed the heatsink from the CPU, you will be able to see the old thermal grease on the CPU as well as the heatsink. This will bring us to our next step where we will clean off the old thermal grease. In my case, I decided to use isopropyl alcohol at a concentration of 91%. However, you can choose other solvents such as toluene or acetone. However, it's recommended to do a final wipe with isopropyl alcohol. Regardless of the chemical you use, always practice safe handling techniques and review with your local EHS guidelines. When cleaning off the old thermal grease, be sure to use a microfiber cloth. When you do this, saturate the cloth with your chosen solvent and then simply wipe the surface of the heatsink as well as the CPU. Before proceeding to the next step, be sure the surfaces are entirely free of the old thermal grease. As you can see here, this is the packaging of the X23-7783D thermal grease. I have a package with about 3 syringes here, and you can choose any of them to use for the next step. In this package, it also comes with a spreader card, which you can use later to spread out the thermal grease on the CPU. This is really useful because you want the most surface area contact between the CPU and the heatsink. This brings us to the next step where we will apply the new thermal grease. There's a lot of speculation on what is the best method, but I chose to go with a small elongated dab on the middle of the CPU. After this, you can use the spreader card that came with the package and spread out the thermal grease. It doesn't have to be done too thoroughly, as when you put on the heatsink, it will get spread out naturally. And after this, you can follow the same steps to put back on the CPU heatsink and then put the case back on the computer. Then you will be able to start working with your new computer. Here on display is the temperature difference that I received when applying this new thermal grease. On average, between all the cores, I received an 8 degrees Celsius temperature decrease. My temperature decrease was very large because of the varied ambient conditions when I did my testing. When you replace your thermal grease, you can expect a temperature decrease of around 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. This will lengthen the life of your computer as well as help it run a bit smoother in day-to-day activities. That is all for today's video. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to check out the description, and I'm wishing you a very wonderful day.